Hello everyone. I've seen a lot of people in DevOps who are just starting out or have 1 or 2 years of experience focusing too much on the technical expertise and just technical expertise and nothing else, which I believe is not the right strategy because in DevOps success is a combination of the mindset, the right strategies and the technical expertise. I'm not saying technical expertise is not needed. I'm saying it is, very much needed. But on top of that, you have to also have the right mindset and the right strategies in place so that you can, take your DevOps game to the next level. So in this video, I am going to share the 5 strategies that I, as a DevOps engineer, use in my day-to-day job. So let's dive right in. So the first one is having the right mindset. And what I mean by that is having a learning mindset because DevOps is a very fast changing landscape. And within just 1 week, you will see a lot of tools coming in, some tools being deprecated, etc. and all. For example, earlier it was Jenkins in 2016 or something, then GitHub Actions came in, and then GitHub Actions became very popular, right? And a lot of companies are using GitHub Actions now. So that is what I mean by that. So if you're doing CI/CD, if you just stick to Jenkins or just one tool in the long run, I think you'll very soon find yourself out of the market, right? So that is why you should have that learning mindset, so that whenever a new tools comes up, you have that tendency to just learn and pick it up and then use it in your particular project. So when I was in Cognizant, right, and I was in the first project where it was mostly operations, right? So even though I was learning Kubernetes, I was learning Terraform, I was learning Ansible, even though it was not being used in my particular project, right? But I think doing that gave me an edge for my next company which I joined. And Kubernetes played a major role there, in getting me hired. So that's what I mean by having a learning mindset. So no matter whether a particular technology like you're seeing not to be used in your particular project, just go ahead and then explore it a little bit, right? And that brings me to my second point, which is have that 0 to 1 philosophy, which is if something feels too much to get started, you are feeling overwhelmed to just get started, one thing which I want to share here is just start, even if it is just 15 minutes. So for example, Crossplane is a relatively new technology, and it has a learning curve. It doesn't have an easy learning curve like Terraform or Ansible, right? So it might feel a little daunting to get started in the first, but if you see, Crossplane is in high demand right now, and a lot of banks and a lot of organizations are adopting it for their platform engineering teams. So Crossplane is being used a lot, even though it is not being used today in my particular project. But I just went ahead and then experimented it with a little bit, and then I just understood some of the things, right? I just got started, and then now it's feeling a little bit easier for me, right? So the second point, which is major one and related to the first point, which is have that 0 to 1 philosophy as well, so that if you're feeling overwhelmed, you just break down and then just take that one step there. And that brings me to that third point, which is if you have a very complex task assigned to you, break that complex task in multiple smaller tasks, right? Because why it is important, because that complex task can seem very daunting in the first place, but if you break it down in 10 chunks, it would become like very easy to tackle those chunks one at a time. So for example, if you're building a GitOps pipeline, it's a complex task, right? So first you build a pipeline for pushing the image to Docker Hub or any Docker registry. Then you connect it to Argo CD, so that Argo CD picks up the change and then deploy to Kubernetes, right? So this entire thing as a whole is very daunting, but if you break it in chunks, like, okay, first I'll achieve this task, which is just push to Docker registry, and the second one which I'll achieve is just pushing from Argo CD to Kubernetes, right? So you can break them into smaller pieces, and then once you do that, and then just try to optimize them one task at a time. So this has helped me a lot, and I can't express how much it has helped me in my DevOps journey. The fourth point is hands-on experience. And I recently posted a video around the 7 cool projects that you can do to upskill your DevOps game. You can find the link of that video here. And in that video, I just share some of the hands-on projects that you can do apart from the certifications. And I talk about certifications being as a good entry point or starting point, which everyone should do based on their domain, like networking or database or AI/ML or infrastructure. But apart from that, you should also focus on some real world use cases. In the last project, I shared some of the DevOps or cloud engineering projects that you can do to enhance your hands-on skills, because those will actually help you in that DevOps interview and job, because you have gone through the documentation, you have troubleshooted some of the things that you are facing when doing the hands-on, etc. So that is why it becomes very important to do hands-on rather than just learning, right? So for example, you learned a lot about infrastructure as code from the news stack or any other website or online forum, but until and unless you don't experiment with tools like Terraform or Pulumi, you will not have that right technical expertise. So until unless you wouldn't have that right hands-on skills where you would have troubleshooted, where you would have gone through the documentation, it will become very difficult for you to answer some of the tricky questions in the interview and in your day-to-day DevOps job, right? So that is why hands-on experimentation is very important. And as I mentioned, do check out this link if you are searching for some hands-on ideas. Now, coming to the fifth point, which is network with fellow DevOps engineers. So go to forums like Google Developer Groups, KubeCon. KubeCon India is happening, I think, on 11th, 12th December, by the way, in India. So if anyone is interested, you can register there. I will leave the link of the registration page in the description below. And I'll be attending that too. So feel free to, come up and say hi to me, or feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and then just say hi that, you are attending KubeCon and we can meet there. Anyways, so just network with fellow DevOps engineers and see what is going in the market, right? Because as I mentioned, DevOps is a very fast changing world, and it pays off in the long run to just have a chat with fellow DevOps engineer and see what they are doing new in their particular project and how they're staying up to date. And that will give you a lot of ideas as to which new project that you can start or which particular new skill that you can add to your DevOps skill set. So those are the 5 points that I wanted to share in this particular video. I hope you would have liked that. If you have any other things that you do as a experienced DevOps engineer, feel free to add them in the comment section below so that others can take a look as well. Now, if you like this video, you would also like this video where I share the roadmap for a successful cloud and DevOps engineer. Do check it out. But if you like this video, share it with your friends, hit a like button and subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this. And until then, you get to live, make the most out of it.